welcome back to Checkable Media. Donald Trump has won the election, like you saw in one of the videos on my channel, and the whole world knew this. He won clearly. Here is the celebration of Trump's supporters singing praises to the Lord after Donald Trump has been declared that he clearly won the election. He won against the Democrats and their contenders, from Barack Obama down there to Harris herself, Kamala Harris. Barely 24 hours after this man was declared and waiting to be sworn in January, when the time of the present administration will be, will be done, will be finished. Trump never slept one day. He's been going around issuing statements, policy statements, drawing out programs that he's going to execute during the period of his presidency in the United States as the 47th president of the United States of America. Series of videos I've seen.
In recent weeks, bombshell reports have confirmed that a sinister group of deep state bureaucrats, Silicon Valley tyrants, left-wing activists, and depraved corporate news media have been conspiring to manipulate and silence the American people. They have collaborated to suppress vital information on everything from elections to public health. The censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed, and it must happen immediately. And here's my plan.
This one is more clear to me because it listed about 10 or 9 or 10 programs that he's going to do immediately when he enters the office.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all, and corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption, and there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every Inspector General's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. Doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to oppose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you very much.
I mean, it touches everything. It's touching all departments, touching everywhere. So everybody is going to collect, like we used to say. Now on balance, everybody is collecting, from the judges to the police to the electoral body to the Senate to the House of Rep. Everybody, House of Congress, that's what they call it over there. Everybody's going to collect. And to those who think they can manipulate children by telling them they found themselves or they found themselves in the wrong body, let them also be aware with their doctor eventually converting them to LGBTQ. Look, I don't have any problem with LGBTQ, but leave our children alone. Let them be matured already before they will be able to decide for themselves. All the medical doctors also involved in this. Care must be taken. Trump is there now. A new sheriff is in town.
Day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare, and will be terminated from the program immediately. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination and the elimination of federal funding. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today.
All right, Vimbai. I mean, he definitely appealed to a nuclear family. And definitely, you would hear that and you would say absolutely yes. You know, this is one of my biggest issues, this transgender rights as well. If you're trying to impose your transgender rights on other people, especially children, like we discussed, one of my biggest issues. But we also had a video, before I come to you, of Kamala Harris, when she invited, members of TV series Square Eye to the White House back in June. Here is that video as we discussed. If you can pull up that video, you see, this is one of the reasons that she probably lost the election. Go ahead, Vimbai.
All right. Well, first of all, this is illegal in Nigeria and several other African countries, which is actually, same-sex relationships. However, the reason why a lot of people resonated with Trump's messaging is because American culture influences heavily what happens with global culture. Whatever is popular in America is ultimately passed on to the rest of the world. For example, now you cannot watch Netflix, YouTube, you can't watch cartoons without seeing some form of LGBTQ representation. Now, adults who are in countries where this is legal are absolutely free to exercise their rights. That's not our business. My concern is when we are now bringing children into this conversation. And I bring this conversation home by saying, of course, I'm not at liberty to name names, but there is a school, or there's a number of schools here in this Nigeria who sent questionnaires home to primary students. Questionnaires asking them, which gender do you feel you are? Do you think you're more this or do you think you're that? What do you want to identify as? This is how the culture filters into our countries, not to mention the other agreements, which is sometimes when there are trade agreements and so forth, these rights are snuck into various sections. So, you know what? What Donald Trump is saying is what generally most Africans believe in. However, children should be allowed to be children.
Out of this 9 list of programs that Donald Trump listed out, pick your own out of it and let everybody pick their own. This man is talking about his homeland now, internally, homeland. He mentioned religion, so it's going to touch everywhere. The police is going to touch everywhere, like I said before, without mixing word. But it remains to be seen how he's going to carry it out. Because, I mean, the leftists also was mentioned. Okay, now, how is he going to do it? Whereby people are not going to get hurt. But anyway, he wields the big power, the big sticks. He has the power to crack down on any dissident, on anybody that is not going to, cooperate with him. But for me, my own concern is Trump actually not using his power? Will not be using his power to, protect himself from prosecution further, from people not being spy against him and looking back into his past record? Is he not going to be like that? Anyway, the fact remains that United States of America, they used to have 2 terms for their presidents. Because now, I don't know how to count it. He did one before. He was a president before. Now it's another one. So are we counting now another 8 years in minus what he has done before? Supporting his principle to work for the American people. The new VP, Vance, to Trump, spoke courageously about foreign affairs and foreign matters between the U.S. and the whole world. Take a listen.
We have built a foreign policy of hectoring and moralizing and lecturing countries that don't want anything to do with it. The Chinese have a foreign policy of building roads and bridges and feeding poor people, and I think that we should pursue a foreign policy, a diplomacy of respect, and a foreign policy that is not rooted in moralizing, it's rooted in the national interest of this country. Because Ambassador Sullivan is at the lead of moralizing instead of pursuing America's national interest, I object.
Now, talking about the foreign affairs as well, we will see what is going to happen in January to the whole world. Because, like I said, when America sneezes, everybody catches cold. And talking about the war between Russia and Ukraine, and the one between Israel and the rest of the Middle East. Let's wait and see what he's going to do. But what I learned is that he said no money will be disbursed, or he's not going to, keep on, executing the theater of war that is going on, that America or the Democrats is supporting right now. So this is just it. But I want you to listen attentively. If you know more than I do, put your comment in the comment section, because I was like, okay, talking about this, talking about that, this and that and that and that. Donald Trump don't come. He don't come. Even for all the governments of the world self, I want to see what he go do to them. All the corruptions in African country. I don't know if he's going to touch anything, because I think the man say, okay, now in country you won't face, but let's see. I heard from his vice president as well that make everybody, we be say no get paper for the United States, they get ready that they're going to get deported. Well, I the fear for my people, because out of the vote we carry Trump even enter. My people, then they inside also. All of them, they voted for him because majority of our people also, they said they want him. They don't want the Democrat to be in power anymore. We think concern ourselves. We think concern me. I no be America. I no get card. We got 8 votes. I no vote nobody. But I want us to learn as well. At least let's learn foreign diplomatic knowledge to try to see what is going on around the world. This is Chokito Media. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye for now. See you next time.